What is happening, all you sexy YouTube warriors out there? RangeDayBro back at it again, and today we have some shorty goodness for you. The Daniel Defense DDM4 PDW coming right at you. Let's get into it. Alright, so if you guys are here, you probably stumbled upon this video or you're interested in looking at purchasing one of these guys. And so what I'm going to go over today is kind of what I got into it, why I purchased this pistol here for 300 blackout, and kind of my experiences with it from start to finish and some of the mods I've done. But starting out, this was a factory built gun. I bought it completely built. Unlike some of my other builds that I buy stripped upper and lower receivers and then assemble them, this one was built completely by Daniel Defense on their factory assembly line. I decided I wanted to just get it from factory from Daniel Defense, as I've mentioned in the past when I went over my Mark 18 setup that we see here. As I mentioned with the Mark 18, the Daniel Defense assembly line doesn't have a separate assembly line for the Special Forces guys versus the civilian side of things. So I really like that, and I like that Daniel Defense does everything in-house. So I won't go over the specs on this. You can look that up yourself. I'll just kind of talk about what I wanted to accomplish out of this type of build, this size and this caliber, and why I decided to go with Daniel Defense on it. This was my first 300 blackout purchase. It took me a long time to get on the 300 blackout train, but since I've made this purchase, I've taken this dive into the 300 blackout world, I've never looked back. I love the caliber. It's just extremely hard to find, especially nowadays, and it is very expensive when you do find it. Once you get some ammo underneath your belt, you can actually just switch out magazines and go from shooting 300 yards with supersonics pretty darn accurately to shooting, you know, sounding like a staple gun when you throw a suppressor on here. So that is the beauty of 300 blackout. Plus for home defense, you're really looking at anywhere from 5 to 25 yards maximum usually for defense type situations, which a 300 blackout is plenty capable of reaching those distances, obviously. This is kind of Daniel Defense's answer, in my opinion, to the Q Honey Badger. When you collapse this guy all the way down, it has a very Q-esque profile. I mean, it is a very short barrel. I believe the Q has a 7-inch barrel. I think this is a 7.5 inch. All their barrels are cold hammer forged. I don't know if they're chrome lined or not, but I've never had an issue out of these barrels. I think these barrels outlast most shooters, especially we're talking about 300 blackout because of the cost and how rare it is to find ammo. This is kind of, in my opinion, was created to compete with the Q Honey Badger. It has that profile, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a poor man's Honey Badger. Now, this wasn't a cheap gun either, and you'll have to check Daniel Defense's website. After tax and all that stuff, I think it adds up to about over $2 grand, and the Q is about 28 to 3,000 last time I checked. Again, I could be wrong, this is 2021 prices, but it bears the name Daniel Defense, which means reliability in my opinion, and so why pay extra for the Q when you have proprietary parts, so on and so forth. The only thing that I know about that's in the Daniel Defense that is proprietary is it uses a Maxim Defense pistol brace, and that uses a proprietary buffer weight, as well as a shorter spring. That way it collapses down shorter than the SB Tactical SBA PDW rather brace that collapses down probably about an inch less. Because it has a standard length buffer tube on it. But that's the only thing I believe that's proprietary on here. Some people may complain because it kind of limits your access to your selector switch with this collapse, but in my opinion, it works just fine. It's kind of one of those tear stocks. You can't just pull it from the get-go. You got to depress the button, but once you push the button, you just tear it right out. You don't really got to hold the button down the whole time. It's just like a push and a pull, and it works great. And then to collapse it, you just kind of use your leg, push the button, and collapse it back down. Going to the front of the gun, it actually ships with this blast deflector or conical linear comp, whatever you want to call it. But it actually looks pretty cool because it sits just ever so slightly inside the handguard, which is pretty cool, and it makes it even shorter. So I added the Dead Air Chemo Micro brake on here so that I can put my suppressor on here. But with this from the factory, it's about that much shorter, if you could see that, guys. But I wasn't a huge fan. I mean, I like the look of this, but since I have a suppressor and they have the option for the micro brake instead of having to put a big long brake like I have on my AR-10 up there, I did like this look, and it didn't make it too much longer. But I did replace this. You can throw this on the side. It's got standard 300 blackout threads, 5x28. Could be wrong on that. Threw that on there, it looks great. Comes from the factory with a pin gas block. I love that, it's bomb proof. I have a little Holosun 509T. It's their micro but fully enclosed dot we got here. It's just nice and small. It's on an ADM riser with the RMR footprint. These Holosuns ship with the RMR plate. So it was a real easy thing to just bolt up. I bought this for a backpack slash truck gun slash nightstand gun. So, and it serves all those purposes really well. I zeroed this in at 50 yards and I've shot out to 150 yards, 200 yards with it. So with the right ammo, you can reach out, probably I'd say effective range, 150, 200 yards easily with this thing. Would I want that ideally? No. Could it be done? Absolutely. It could absolutely be done. All right, so what's it like to shoot this thing? Long story short, it's a dream. It's beautiful. It's nice little compact, great little gun. I'd say this with subsonic ammo would be a great gun to get a new gun person to the range with. You throw a suppressor on there with some subsonic ammo and they're gonna be like, oh, guns aren't so scary. You know, it's a great little plinker for sure, but then you can throw some supers in there and really start ripping and tearing ass. So I think that it's a great little gun. What does it come with? It comes with 300 blackout mag. It comes with a case, which is actually pretty nice. Most companies don't even ship with cases anymore. So it comes with a little hard case. I mean, it's nothing super duper fancy, but it is nicer than having nothing, especially if this is your first AR, to be able to take it to the range, because obviously you can't just go, I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it's not ideal to just go walking around the street with your AR pistol, you know, out for everybody to see. So to have a little carry case, and most gun ranges and gun stores don't allow you to bring in a gun that's not in a case. So if you want to go to the range, you're going to need a case. So it's nice that it comes with one. But overall, I mean, I got zero complaints about this thing. It's just a super slick gun. I mean, it's everything about its quality. Oh, one last thing I did forget as well. It does ship with a hand stop, which I don't have on here. I've recently sold that with another build. But it's a little SLR Rifle Works hand stop. It's great for what it is. It comes out here on the end to kind of stop your hand from coming out on the edge of the barrel. If you're used to shooting longer rifles and or pistols, it was a nice little feature just to make sure you don't grab the muzzle there. So really nice. Comes with their ambidextrous charging handle, which has that little gas port feature that the Daniel Defense has as well. But I just wanted to give you guys a few comparisons and let you see what this looked like side by side with something like a Mark 18, for instance, that we have here, so you could see the size difference. So you look at them with the stocks. Let's do the stocks fully collapsed here. So here the stocks are fully collapsed, and you could see what the height difference is there in the Daniel Defense Mark 18 versus the 300 Blackout. They're about level where the braces are at right now, and the Mark 18 is still quite a bit bigger. They're both laying on my lap here, and you can see the difference, probably about 5 or 6 inches here in difference in length. So quite a bit shorter, especially when it's compacted down, which makes it very nice for backpack. It does fit in my backpack. However, it was a little bit more of a snug fit in the backpack than the new 300 Blackout build was, because this new 300 Blackout build has a Law Tactical folder, which when I fold this guy, you'll notice how much shorter it gets than even the 300 Blackout with it fully collapsed. So it's still got about 1.5 to 2 inches, I'd say, probably 2 or 2.5 inches realistically. When I lay them on my lap, yeah, we're looking at about 2 inches there of saved length, and they both have the same exact micro brake on there, and so you do save quite a bit of length on there. And if you notice, this one's a bit more kitted out than this guy is, and that's because this kind of took the crown for my favorite backpack truck gun, which I've done a review on this guy recently too. If you want to see this gun review, I'll put a card up here at this time to watch that. But this kind of took the crown because of its ambidextrous lower. That is one thing that you don't get out of the Daniel Defense here. Forgive me, the selector switch is ambidextrous, but everything else is not. So and even on this guy, it's not fully ambidextrous. The mag release is not. However, I do have a bolt release on this side, which I really do enjoy. So with that being said, this kind of took the crown as my favorite 300 Blackout truck gun, because you do save a little bit of length with the Law Tactical folder over the Daniel Defense, but also I like that you can just do a mag reload, and then I can just use my index finger on that silencer co lower just to drop the bolt forward, whereas on this one I gotta reload in the classic AR fashion and release the bolt right there. So that's just a little thing I like. Plus, I love that Geisley rail and the color on that guy, but obviously I still love this guy because I haven't sold it. I don't plan on selling it because Daniel Defense is they're just quality guns. I don't have to ever worry about this one running or not. With that build I had to change out the buffer. I had a Spikes Tactical T2 buffer in it. I had to switch it to a normal buffer because I was having a little bit of malfunctioning with the cheaper Russian ammo and the underpowered ammo. So that's an example of why buying factory new is kind of a one-stop shop. You buy and you buy from a reputable company and you know it's going to work. If you build, now if you're an experienced builder, you know how to tune things and you can actually get builds to run better, run smoother, less gas in the face, all that good stuff. But it takes a lot more fine-tuning. It takes a lot more personal experience and just knowing how you like to shoot and what ammo you like to shoot. Certain guns don't like certain ammo. Like I said, with this other 300 Blackout, this guy right here, with this build, it was mostly just, hey, it wasn't having enough pressure to cycle the action because the Log Tactical incorporates a extension piece here which adds weight, as well as I had a T2 buffer in here and a flat wire buffer spring. So all those things added up to making it a lot more difficult to cycle with lower powered ammunition. So I had to tune this one quite a bit. Not quite a bit, just replaced that buffer, tuned it a little bit, and now it's running perfectly fine with that Russian ammo, and it's just a lot of fun. I love this rail, and this is kind of my kind of dream build right here. So that's why I've kind of gone to that, but it's no knock on the Daniel Defense. Before I even had that one built, and that one was inspired by this here actually, I added a couple inches on the barrel so I could reach out a little further, and then added a Log Tactical folder so I can get even more compact while having more reach. So that's just something to think about, guys. As far as most of y'all's purposes, I believe this would 100% fill those purposes. I love Daniel Defense. Everything about them screams quality, even into the little laser engraving they have here, the DDM4 PDW. It's just a great freaking gun, and when you hold it, I like their furniture. This is their OEM furniture on here, their grip and their trigger guard. It's really great. It's just all around a really great gun. I know I keep saying that over and over again. There's not much else to say about it. It's just get out there, get you one of these, and go shoot it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll want to save up for this. If you don't have a 300 Blackout yet, I suggest getting one. For what it does, it is quite an incredible caliber. You get all the ballistic advantages that the 5.56 lacks in with a 10.5-inch barrel here, 10.3, out of a 7-inch or an 8-inch or a 10-inch. 300 Blackout was maximized for a 10-inch barrel, so you get all those benefits while having a smaller, more compact package. And you don't have to sacrifice velocity and terminal performance. So, I mean, it's blatantly obvious that the 5.56 is more widely available than the 300 Blackout is. Ask my bank account, because, let's be honest, every time I find 300 Blackout, I pretty much buy it because it is that hard to find at times. There's an inherent advantage in that price difference because you can practice so much more with the 5.56. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter if you don't get training, how cool you look. I mean, looking cool is great, but looking cool and being cool is even better. So if you train with a 5.56, it's better than getting a 300 Blackout and not training with it and just being able to say, oh, I have a 300 Blackout, because you want to be a cool hipster with a 300 Blackout. I mean, here's my suggestion to all you new gun owners out there. If you're considering the Daniel Defense PDW 300 Black and you have a Mark 18 or you have some other AR-15 lower, I would suggest buying the upper. And now, I don't know if you can just buy this upper on its own, but if I was y'all, I would look into just buying the upper, or I'd buy this AR pistol right here and then buy the Mark 18 upper, which I know for a fact you can buy, and then you could switch them out because the lower would work on both, and then that way you could train with a 5.56 with a similar length and weight and balance and all that, and then you could keep this 300 Blackout upper on here and your 300 Blackout ammo for your self-defense and for your home defense type situations. And also, for comparison's sake, we're going to look at the ATX Armory we have here. This is a 14.5 pinned and welded. All right, so let's wrap this video up, guys. In conclusion, what do I think about the 300 Blackout on the Daniel Defense DDM4 PDW? It's fantastic. If you can swing it, buy it. You only need to buy one of these. It's bomb-proof. It'll last you for the rest of your life. And then you can mod it out however you want. You could put your quick detach for your suppressor on there. You could change the brace out if you wanted to, or you could SBR it. And then you could add, obviously, whatever optics and so on and so forth. But overall, the quality control and just the overall fit and finish of this guy and how solid it is, I mean, until you hold it, I mean, it's a tiny package. I mean, I have some big hands, but this thing is actually this small. It's a real small package, and you'll never have to buy another one. Now, you'll want to buy others. Like I had mentioned, you could buy a Daniel Defense Mark 18 upper for this, and then you could run a 5.56 with the same mags, the same lower, all that good stuff, and not have to go through a background check and just have the upper receiver shipped to your door, because that's not the firearm. So at the end of the day, I believe this is one of the best 300 Blackouts factory I've ever used. I think if you want to get better than this, I don't think it does, because it uses a standard bolt carrier group. So if anything ever goes down on this, you could just swap it out with one of your other ARs. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me in the algorithm, because YouTube hates gun tubers. So that really would mean a lot to me if you could do that. Also, if you're not sure, just please double check and make sure you are subscribed, because you may think you are, but YouTube, again, does unsubscribe people periodically without them even knowing. So just double check down there, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you get notified of any new videos that come out. And with that being said, stay safe, stay dangerous. RangeDayBro.